Hello students, today we are going to start a new chapter, chapter number 9, Force and Laws of Motion. This is our new chapter. Previously we have already finished chapter lesson number 6, that is tissues, and today the new chapter. So the name of the lesson, it is force, and then the second part will be laws of motion. What do you mean by force? If I ask you what is force? Actually force means, see what is force and explain the effect of force with examples. Means what is force and what happens if the force is applied. Now force is defined as push or hit or pull on an object. That means suppose this pen is lying, if I push it, if I pull it, or if I hit it to change the state of motion. Now there are two states of motion. The object may be at rest, this is the state of motion is rest. Object may be in motion like this. If it may be in motion, that is state of motion is it is in motion. So two states of motion are there, either it will be in rest or it will be moving. So force is defined as push or pull or hit on an object to change its state of motion. If the object is at rest, it will be set in motion by pushing, and if the object is already moving, then you can hold it and bring it to rest by force. The effects of force, there are several effects. First effect is shape of the body changes. That is, if we press a balloon, inflated balloon, already air is filled in the balloon. If we press an inflated balloon between the palms, then the shape of the balloon changes. So force can change the shape of the body, and this is the example. Then force can change the state of motion. That is, when a book is lying on a table and it is pushed, then it moves. So its position changes. Already suppose this book is lying here, and if I am pushing the book, then it was lying here, now it is being pushed that side, so its position is changed. Then state of motion of the body changes, that is position of the body changes. First of all, shape of the body changes. Next is position of the body changes. The example is book lying on the table can be pushed and the position can be changed. Now state of motion of the body changes. State of motion of the body can be changed means the body can either be, suppose it was stationary, then it can be brought to motion, and if the body is moving, then it can be halted. So stationary body can be brought in the motion, and the body in motion can be brought to rest. Example, when a stationary ball is hit by a batsman hits a ball, then the ball comes in motion. And if the moving car on application of the brake comes to halt. So a moving body can be brought to halt, or a body already in rest, it can be set in motion. Then velocity of the moving body changes. For example, the velocity means speed of the moving body changes. The force, if it is applied on the body, it can increase the speed or decrease the speed, or even it can change the direction of the moving body. For example, when a cricketer hits a six, then there is an increase in velocity of the ball, and if he is hitting the six, it will move in the opposite direction too. So here the velocity is increasing also, and the direction of the body is also changing. So these are the effects of the force. With examples you can explain this way. Now see, there are two types of forces, balanced force and unbalanced force. Balanced and unbalanced force, given on page number 115. This is the topic, balanced and unbalanced force. Let us see what is balanced and unbalanced force with an example. Now example, first of all, now suppose this is a wooden block, and we have put a hook and one rope with it on the right side, and another again one hook and a rope, and it is being pulled on the right hand side also, it is being pulled on the left hand side also. When it is pulled on the right hand side, suppose it is pulled with 5 Newton force. Newton is the unit of force, and on the left hand side it is pulled with 8 Newton force. So on the left hand side the force exerted is greater than the right hand side. This is 8 Newton, this is 5 Newton. That means both the forces are not equal. It is unequal forces are applied on opposite direction. And under these circumstances, we are sure that on the left hand side, when the force is more, then the body is going to move on the left hand side. So the resultant force will be 8 minus 5, the bigger force minus the smaller force, that will be 3 Newton. Because of the effect of 3 Newton force, the body is going to be pulled on the left hand side. So the resultant force here in this case, when unequal forces are applied on both the directions, in opposite directions, is 3 Newton, and this type of force under whose effects, the two forces are there, under whose effects the body changes its position, this type of forces are called unbalanced force. That is, the forces under whose effect the object changes its position, then such type of force is called unbalanced force, and resultant force in the unbalanced force is never zero, it will be any positive figure. Now see the balanced forces. Suppose the wooden block is pulled on the right hand side with the force of 5 Newton, and on the left hand side also it is being pulled with the force of 5 Newton. That means equal amount of force is applied on both the sides, and in this case the body will not move, as it is being pulled on the same, on the right hand side also 5, on the left hand side also 5. So resultant force will be 0 and the object is not going to move from its place. Such a force is called balanced force. So this is the example you can give. While the explanation you have to write from my notes, and the diagram, this diagram you have to draw as I have shown in the video. This you draw and write so that explanation becomes perfect. Here, what are balanced and unbalanced forces? Balanced force, the force under whose combined effect. Why combined effect? Because there may be 2, 3 or 4, more than one force, under whose combined effect there is no change in the state of motion of the body, then it is known as balanced force. There should be no change. In this case, no change in the state of motion is there. This is balanced force. And unbalanced force is the forces under whose combined effect the state of the motion of the body changes. Then it is called unbalanced force, and resultant force of the unbalanced force is not zero. It is never zero. Then the example is given. The example which I have explained you just now, that example you have to write and you have to draw that diagram. That's all in today's videos. We'll be meeting in the next video.